Over the last 60 days, I worked with a dropshipper doing 3K per day to double his sales and profits. But sadly, we weren't able to double his sales. Instead, we increased his sales by over 400% and more than tripled his profits. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna walk you through exactly what we did to achieve these results in such a short period of time. And to prove to you that this is not luck. You simply just don't know what you don't know. So let's get into it. Okay, so here you could see the client's actual post here. You can see this was 3 days ago. Now he started working with us end of September. So it's actually been less than 60 days. And he posted this 3 days ago. You could see yesterday, 12.8K. He said he had a nice 24% margin on it yesterday. So there you go. There's the proof. He actually just scaled to 12.8K per day 3 days ago. So this is the actual doc. Now I obviously changed some stuff up and had to hide some things for that way, everyone here watching doesn't go steal his store and look into him and stuff. But this was his actual metrics and onboarding doc when he started with us. I'm going to walk you through what happened with his current metrics, the opportunities I saw and the things he needed fixing, the metrics over the next 30 days, and then the actual plan that I put in place for him to go scale to actually, take this and get the results. So when he onboarded with us, his sales per month were about 110K per month. This is all USD, by the way, 110K per month at 3.5K per day. AOV about 33, conversion rate just above 4, returning customer rate 3.29, refund rate 0.39. No email. Profit was about 20%, which was about 22K at the 110 per month. And the estimated valuation of this business, if you tried to sell, would be about $800,000. Now, actually less, right? Due to high risk and no backend and systems. Technically, your brand could sell for 3 to 5x your EBITDA, your yearly net profit. However, if you don't have email in place and you don't have multiple channels and you don't own your inventory, this multiple is typically a lot less. So I just put a 3x here just to keep it simple. But realistically, I want to be very clear, it's probably less than this. Now, after 30 days, his sales went up to, or after 60 days, or just under 60 days, his sales went up to 360K per month, which is 12K per day. AOV went up to 38, conversion rate went up to 5, returning customer rate went up to 4, refund pretty much stayed the same. Email, still barely any email, so I put it as NA. Now we have flows and stuff like that, so I'll get into that, but it's really not that much of a difference from what he first started. Profit, though, is still around 20%, which went up to about 72K. So in less than 60 days, 22K to 72K, not bad. And this increases valuation, once again, at a 3x on the yearly net profit here, about 2.6 million. Once again, probably a little less due to the same things we talked about here. But now with his current sales, he's actually in a position to work on setting up the backend and systems to reduce the risk and increase the multiple his business could get, which is why there's next steps here. So what did we actually do to achieve this? Because you can see, well, what were the major things? Well, his AOV increased, his conversion rate increased, everything else pretty much stayed the same. Now, I'm going to explain to you why, because if you're doing less than 250,000 per month, you're pretty much only wanting to focus on these two things and your ads. And I'll explain to you exactly what made the big difference for him. And then the next steps we're going to take for him to continue scaling to 500K per month and onwards. So the biggest difference of why we were able to get him the results as fast as we were 100% this: put proper creative strategy and system in place. So previously when he came to us, 80% of his testing was focused on iteration. So he had one winning ad or two winning ads, and he kept iterating on the same concept with the same messaging, new B-roll, new hooks here and there, but they were just iterations of each other, right? And only about 20% of his tests, probably even less, were new concepts. So we had to switch this the other way around to where 80% of the tests were new concepts and only 20% were iterations. Because you have to understand, iterations will only get you so far. They're not going to scale you into a new pocket audience and bring in more new customers, because when you're creating iterations, you're working on efficiency. You're trying to lower the CPA of the already existing winning ad, which is great, and you should do that. However, when you have 2 to 3 iterations of a winning ad, you don't need any more, right? What you need to do is switch your focus to volume by testing new concepts with different messaging that attract different people or slightly different people into your funnel and into your business. And that's how you're actually going to scale volume when it comes to your ads. So to do that, we need to reverse engineer competitors for inspiration, but don't steal. Now, almost anybody these days could find a viral TikTok shop product or TikTok product, steal all the content that exists, and get it to 100,000 per month. And this is what it was. There were high performing TikToks, organic videos, and content online, and he would take this content and run it as his ads, right? The issue is, even if you put your own text on it, you're still using existing content. And most of the time, let's be real, most people are just copying the entire thing and launching it. And this is okay to do from the start to see what kind of angles and content works. But if you continue doing that, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to make the switch from just stealing content and stealing ideas from competitors to actually creating your own. And what's the easiest first step to do that? Well, that's to reverse engineer competitors in your niche for inspiration and just inspiration. Then take this inspo with the content they use, the hooks they use, the structure, the ads that they use, and take that to go make your own ads from scratch with your own content. That's what's going to scale you. If you stick to just doing the iterations and stealing content, you will not scale past the multi six figure per month mark. You can get there, you may even go past that, but to stay at that level and continue scaling past that, you need to invest in your own content. If you don't invest back into your business, into your own content, you simply won't scale. And that's what I told him to do. Next, we had to focus on the intention behind every part of your brief. Now, this is more so getting good and practicing direct response marketing. You could just make ads and throw them up and hope they do well, or you could be very intentional with the hooks you use, the words you use, the messaging you use, the angles you're using, the avatar you're targeting, the desires you're using, the stages of awareness you're writing this ad specifically for. And when you get really intentional behind every part of the brief and every part of the copy of your ad, well, your winning ad hit rate goes up and you make more money with actually less tests, right? And this is what you need to do. So don't be spam testing creatives. Dial it back, focus on quality. Now we'll get into how to actually scale output next. And then next was switch focus from efficiency on that one concept, which I talked about, to actually scaling volume by testing new messaging and desires. Next was to put consistent high quality testing in place. So this whole part here was, okay, this is how you're currently doing. This is your current strategy. Let's actually take your current creative strategy and now switch it up to what it needs to be. So now you know where the focus needs to be. Well, then how do we actually do this, right? Well, we put high quality testing in place. The first goal for him was to test 4 net new concepts per week. Okay? 4. You don't need to do anything. You go 2 to 4 net new concepts per week, and that's more than enough to start and get you going. Especially, once again, if you put a lot of intention behind each of these, you can scale very, very far with only testing 4 per week. Now, he was already trying to scale output and test more without getting the strategy right or being very good at direct response marketing. He's already trying to scale the output, which is just the wrong way to go about it. When you scale volume, right? Don't scale volume or don't scale output if quality decreases. When you can scale output and maintain the same intention and quality, then increase. Because this is what systems are. People like to use the word systems. Well, what is a system? Well, your creative system would be, can you maintain the same quality of creatives and ad testing as you double your output? So 4 per week, go to 8 per week. Can you maintain the same quality and same intention behind every single one of those by doubling? If you can, okay, now double it. And how do you do that? Well, you put systems in place, which are SOPs and processes. You hire people, you train them, and then you build out these SOPs for them to follow, and you improve them over time. So that way anybody can come in, follow this SOP, and create a high quality ad to your standards at a high degree all the time. When you have that in place, then you can increase your output. The third thing we needed to do was get clear on KPIs. Now, what this really means is, one, you should be scaling and increasing budgets based off of your business NCPA, which is your new customer cost per acquisition, and your MER, in other words, for marketing efficiency ratio, or your blended ROAS across your entire business, not your Facebook ad account, right? When I'm determining to increase my budget or not, I'm not looking at what ROAS I have in Facebook. I'm looking at my actual KPIs and my blended business MER or ROAS to see where my profit lies. And in those KPIs, we're accounting for all costs and fixed costs in that target. So I know if my target is a 2.5 MER and that gives me 20% profit, I know that with certainty. However, most people's KPIs don't include their fixed costs, transaction fees, freight, packaging, thank you cards that go in the packaging. Every expense needs to be accounted for. And that is your KPI target. And you're scaling based off of this for your blended and your NCPA. Why? Well, I don't know a big brand spending hundreds of thousands per month on Facebook ads or any types of ads that are running their Facebook at a 2.53 ROAS. It doesn't happen unless, there's some cases where maybe they have a crazy offer, it's super in demand, and just printing money. But every business I know doing 30 million per year or more run their Facebook at pretty much break even or even at a loss. However, they're still making money on new customers because they have other sources of acquiring those customers. Their email flows picks up a lot of slack, abandoned cart flows, and all these things help you rely less on Facebook itself, so you don't need as high of a ROAS or CPA target to scale. And that's what I wanted to get clear on. Now, if you don't have any other channels or Google or email in place, your MER and NCPA target will pretty much be your Facebook target. But keep this in mind, because as you scale your business, you have more returning customers and more revenue coming from other places like email and Google and things like this. You could probably push your Facebook spend a lot further than you think, because when you push your Facebook spend, your email gets better, your Google gets better, and all these other channels get better, which provide you more revenue, which means you actually don't need as much of a high ROAS on Facebook. And you still make the same profit, well, actually more, because now you spent more and you're getting more revenue with the same profit. Hopefully that's making sense, and that's what we got clear on with him. Next was to improve his AOV and margin. So first was upsells. We added shipping protection, which was testing different price points for this, which was $298, $398, or $498 is what we started with. And then we simply keep split testing this, increasing it until you see a drop off. I've seen brands where this goes up all the way up to like 11, 12 bucks. I've seen some where they have it at $2. I've seen some where they have it at $6. Point is, keep testing the $1 increments until you find the drop off. If you're not doing this already, it's free money and you should. This is just usually a pre-selected upsell in the cart page. Next is shipping costs. If you're not charging shipping, charge shipping. And if you are charging shipping, charge more for shipping. You'd be surprised at how much you could get away with. On average, my brand, per order, we charge $12 to $16 per order for shipping that the customers pay us for shipping. As you're still offering free shipping, you're probably losing out on money. That's just probably the hard truth about it. And so he was charging shipping, but I got him to increase it by $1, then by $2, then another $3, and another $2. And that's when we kind of saw where the drop off was. So overall, he increased his shipping costs by over $7 per order. Now that's pure profit, right? $7 pure profit extra per order. And if they were above his free shipping threshold, well, he had a much bigger order and he made more profit anyways than if they paid for shipping. So if they didn't pass the AOV threshold to get free shipping, you make an extra $7 per order. If they pass it, you make another 10 plus per order, depending on obviously the upsells you have in place there. So this was a huge, huge win, especially at scale, right? This is going to increase your AOV, increase your profit margin. And now you don't even need as high of a ROAS on Facebook to scale because your margin is just so much better. So absolutely put this in place. We put this in place and it made a big, big difference. Same thing with shipping insurance. We implemented that as well. And post-purchase upsells, I had a question mark. Turns out you already had them in place. If you don't have it in place, make sure you have post-purchase upsell flows in place. That will increase your AOV. It's free money. Just offer more of the same at a bigger discount. I've never seen it not work. And last but not least, bundles. He has a very strong offer with bundles where he has a hero product and other complementary products added in there for free. If you're just running a straight discount, try free gifts as well. Try buy one, get one free. Always be testing different offers. In this case, his bundles were the ones that performed the best with the highest margin. So after that, we got his AOV up to 38 from 33. And once again, most of this is pure profit. And then the next thing we did was increase his conversion rate. And how did we do that? Well, a few major things was hurting his conversion rate. Now, before we even go into this, a lot of your conversion rate comes from your ads and how well your ads perform. So if you think your site's okay and your offer's fine, work on the ads first because you may just not have any good ads. Now, if you're really, really testing ads and it still doesn't convert, probably your offer. Okay. In this case, his offer was good. His conversion rate was decent. There were just a few things that are hurting it where we could increase it even more. And so what we did was he had a add to cart button on the page that would take you straight to checkout. Instead, we changed it to a slide cart because there's an opportunity there to increase your AOV and profits without hurting your conversion rate. So we changed from slide cart to a checkout page. Sorry, we changed from the straight to checkout to the slide cart. It didn't hurt conversion rate. We added a shipping progress bar and added 1 to 3 upsells on cart. So we increased his AOV further without hurting his conversion rate. Then the site was just messy. It looked like a 2014 dropshipping store. And most of that was the branding and header overall. So we removed search from the header. We overall just made it look less spammy. He had 2 announcement bars and 2 headers. We had 1 header now promoting his free shipping offer over X AOV. And then in the cart page, we also added payment badges in the cart to build trust. And that's pretty much it, right? And that took him, right? It's a mix of this, right? High intent ads and those little changes that got the conversion rate from 4 all the way up to 5%, which obviously helped to scale a lot. Next, here's some easy wins that we had for him. We implemented brand search campaigns on Google and Microsoft. So one on Google, he had a brand search, but he was targeting some broad keywords related to his product, which just was not performing. And it's not supposed to anyways. A brand search is just targeting your brand name. So we changed that to just the brand names. And obviously that doesn't spend that much, but the ROAS is insanely high. It's free money. And that started working. And then what we did was we simply imported this into Bing ads. Most people don't know this, but Bing ads or Microsoft has a button on there where you literally just import your Google campaigns. All settings stay the same and it launches there. So it's free money. We won't spend much, but take your Google brand, import it into Microsoft and have it run there as well. Why wouldn't you? Next was to increase his returning customers to at least 15% plus. The more you can increase your returning customer percentage, the better you will do, the more you will profit and the less you will have to rely on Facebook. And the more revenue you have from returning customers that you don't have to pay for in terms of a cost per purchase on Facebook means you can actually spend more on Facebook because you're getting a lot more profit from the back end. So the biggest businesses, once again, the reason they're able to run their Facebook at break even or a loss and still profit massively is because they make most of their profit from the back end, right? Which lets them really supercharge the front end by just spending more, getting a ton of new customers in, and then the back end producing the profits. And when you have a returning customer rate of 3% or up to 4%, it's just not enough to do that. And so one of the big things that we'll do to take them from 360 up to 500K per month is really build out the back end and become and have more revenue coming from the existing customers that we've already acquired. To do this, we need to launch new SKUs, new products, so that your actual email list has something to come back and buy, new offers that they're interested in. And then we launched and improved their email flows and campaigns. So we set up a welcome flow, a abandoned cart flow, post-purchase flow. If you don't have at least these three, obviously there's more to do. But in his case, we launched these three that he didn't have. And that produced over $500 within the first 24 hours. And the good news is that they just sit there, you split test them and you optimize, and then it just produces you revenue like clockwork every single day. And that will be the start of increasing the returning customer rate. Now, alongside the flows, we start sending campaigns. But once again, for the campaigns to work, you actually need products to offer them. So if you only have one product on your store, you need to launch new SKUs. Don't overcomplicate it. Complementary products to your hero product, and just different products that are in the same niche that you think that your target audience would like, right? The key here, though, is actually have a good product that they're interested in, because if they buy it and they don't like it, they're not going to buy from you again. So make sure you offer them something very good. And the last but not least was to analyze the markets and optimize, because we were testing worldwide and not just USA. And basically, we separated out just to have one campaign specifically for USA because it's performing the best and it just makes it easier in terms of optimizing that market specifically. And that's pretty much what we did. Like we didn't overcomplicate it. Now, obviously, I can't show you his store and product and things like that, but it's different for every business. But hopefully, you could take some of these things that we did, look at your current setup in your store, and see which of these you could implement. Because most cases, 80% of everything I went over here will apply to every single brand or business. And most people who come to me doing around 100K per month, who want to scale to 300K per month, 400K per month, 500K per month, they're just missing this. And once again, I'm really going to stress that this one here is really the big one. Like, yes, we made improvements in AOV and increased the margin and things like this. These are just standard. Do it. You'll make more money. But the real big win is really getting clear on the creative strategy and putting that testing in place. Now, what I have here as well is just a quick overview that I gave him in terms of how do we actually get to the next milestones. So we already crossed the 250K per month. So now we're on to the 500K and a million. Now, these are rough overviews, right? What I put here will get you to 500K per month plus if you do it well. I just gave a rough overview of the different kind of key points and things you need to do in each to get to the scale. So hopefully that could help you out. That's why I'm sharing it. So 250K plus per month, improve the testing and media buying, improve creative strategy and system, improve returning customer percentage, email and SMS. You need to add new SKUs. And for his product, this is bigger versions, complementary products, etc. Improve AOV and conversion rate with the shipping costs, shipping protection and insurance, and complementary SKUs. Then for 500K plus per month, we have to increase the volume of testing. Once again, once we have the systems in place to not reduce the quality, expand to new markets, CRO testing and landing page testing, and then $1 million a month, optimizing worldwide, new channels, second hero product, and a bunch of other things that will come up along the way that you're going to have to deal with, team management, OKRs, fulfillment, cash flow and finance, and a whole bunch of other things. Then I give him a bunch of initial next steps, which are specific to his brand, so I'm not sharing, and a to-do list form to make it even simpler to go follow. Then he took this, he executed on it, and with less than 60 days, went from 3.5K per day to over 12K per day. And what's even more impressive, obviously, is the take-home 22K profit to $72,000 in profit that month. That's a big difference. So hopefully you learned something here. If you want me to do this with your brand, to kind of put a plan and strategy doc together like this for you, there's a link in the bio and check it out. That's what we do. And it works. Either way, I hope you take this and implement it for your own brand, and hopefully it helps you to scale. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.